viewers, this is Zeray Press. Today we have a guest. Our guest is from Tigray Independence Party that we call locally WNAT. Slassie Kahsay from the Tigray Independence Party leadership. And I will give him the room to introduce himself. Thank you very much, Mr. Slassie, for having you here. And our issue would be on the party's organizational and political strengths and weakness, then on the election your party has taken as a stand. So thank you very much. And would you introduce yourself briefly to our viewers?
All right. Thanks for having me, Zeray. All right, great. I'm Slassie Kahsay. I'm leadership of Tigray Independence Party.
And I think you are from Mekelle University, instructor?
Yeah, right. I am from Mekelle University, the department of lecturer in the Department of Journalism and Communication. Simultaneously, I'm heading the department, head of the Department of Journalism and Communication.
Yeah, great. I think Mr. Slassie, again, I would like you to briefly introduce or to share your experiences as to why you joined this party. What was the motive that makes you join this party that you are currently being part of the leadership?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. I am going to take you some 10 years ago. By the way, before we began Tigray Independence Party, as a party, I was struggling for the nation of Agazian.
Okay.
Because I believe everyone who is born to the soil of Tigray, who is born to the soil of the Aksumite kingdom, should struggle for the rebirth of the nation of Agazian. The nation of Agazian is, in other words, we can say, the Aksumite kingdom, where the kings of Ezana witnessed his intelligence, strength, and leadership skills, not only in front of the Aksumites, not only in front of the Tegaru, but in front of the whole world. So I was among the like-minded people, like-minded individuals who dream the rebirth of the nation of Agazian. But unfortunately, it was not successful. You know, there were divisions in that movement. So after that, we were discussing with like-minded people, and after a sustained discussion, after a continuous discussion, I, with my comrades, with like-minded people, decided that we need to have a party who strikes for an independent Tigray. This is not actually different from the movement of the nation of Agazian. You know why? Because the Tigray Independence Party, although the initiation map is according to the FDRE, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia,
yeah,
but that's not actually the limit. It goes beyond. Because the nation of Agazian struggles like the Wolde Mariam was struggling for, like the late Member Gabriel Desta was struggling for, and other many fathers who were and who are struggling for the nation of Agazian. So when I struggled for the Tigray Independence Party, a it's not limited by geography. Like we're struggling for people with similar or same culture, people with similar or same religion, background, same or similar psychological makeup. So when we say the independent Tigray, it also goes beyond. It encompasses, it embraces people with similar or same culture, background, blood relationship, and psychological makeup. So that's why still I believe the final destination is the rebirth of the nation of Agazian. But still I'm struggling for Tigray Independence Party. Maybe how I joined. It was do you remember in June 2020 like شدشتن شوعتن سنة كلتشن عسرت the Giz calendar. That was the first summit of the party. That time I was among the elected ones of the executive, the 9 executive ones. From that day onwards, I struggled to vision or to see the independent Tigray, and I worked at the head of the history and culture affairs. Same time, worked at head of the communication affairs of the party, and still just struggling as part of the leadership.
Yeah, thank you for the reasons that push you to join this party, because this Tigray Independence Party is known for its well-defined objectives that to make Tigray independent from day one, from the scratch. And there is a political opinion in Tigray that asked why this party has not achieved some political objectives boldly, or so far, I mean, or if you have some assessments, political assessments that you claim you have achieved so far, but I wonder that if you make an assessment or evaluation whether the Tigrayans, the old generation, the new generation, or the past generation would like to remain in Ethiopia or just Ethiopianist, or we prefer to be independent Tigrayans, because there is this kind of political opinion that nobody can define the Tigrayan people that whether they are first Ethiopian or first Tigrayans, or they just see themselves as Ethiopians and Tigrayans in the same time, because there was no any assessments that conducted by independent institution, but simply there are opinions. But so okay, when you joined the party that you are currently part of, the leadership, how did you assess whether your dream is coming true, to be true or not? Did you find practically that the Tigrayans more prefer to be Tigrayans or Ethiopians at current or in the past? Do you think that are you achieving your objectives, your dreams?
Thank you very much. As a leadership, achievement can be, it can be partially or fully. But I strongly believe, Tigray Independence Party has at least partially achieved its goal. Because everyone can understand the strong nationalism of every Tigray, especially the young generation, before and the time the genocidal war began. You can understand, everyone can understand. So everyone is Tigray. Everyone is a Tigray nationalist. But after the genocidal war, I don't mean the genocidal war has stopped now, still continuing, by the way. Anyway, after the gun silenced, especially following the Pretoria Peace Accord, since the Pretoria Peace Accord is not being implemented, there are frustrations. But it doesn't mean Tagaru, they are not nationalists. It doesn't mean the young generation is not struggling for a nationalist, for the independent Tigray. It's a frustration. We can see where there is no territorial integrity, where the IDPs are not returned to their homeland, where there is no any humanitarian access, where the very term humanity is being ignored in Tigray. So in such cases, there might be frustrations. But you cannot say the young generation is not nationalist. Rather, every Tigray these days, everyone understands. We have to struggle for an independent Tigray. It's easy to understand the people's heartbeat. It's easy to understand the young generation heartbeat. There are things that hinder the nationalism, but still nationalism is firing in every Tigrayoid heart. The Tigray nationalism is firing in every young Tagaru nationalists. So I can say, I don't think you will not exactly ask me the number or the person. If you ask me, even I can tell you. Everyone, at least most of them, the 90% and above, everyone is a Tigray nationalist.
I think it's natural for any party to claim any achievement in the society, whether it has brought it by itself or not. I think similar things for Tigray Independence Party is doing the same, because you see that Tigray was simply destroyed by the Ethiopian state to the extent that we call it genocide has been committed against Tigray, against every Tigrayan, and it's natural for the Tigrayans to feel that we are slaughtered, we are killed, we are not considered part of Ethiopia. Just we are being killed simply because we are Tigrayans by the Ethiopian state. And so the external enemies who have committed crimes against the Tigrayans, and the Tigrayans, natural for them to feel that they prefer to be Tigrayans than being Ethiopian, because Ethiopia is committing genocide against the Tigrayans. So by itself, just because of the action of the external forces, make the whole Tigray to be Tigrayans and to be independent, to escape themselves from such genocidal acts. The nationalism that you see in the population, I'm saying that is not brought by the political efforts or propagandas of Tigray Independence Party, your party, but rather naturally just because of the genocidal partners, because they pushed the people of Tigray from Ethiopia, they killed, they looted, they did everything wrong. So any society elsewhere would feel the same if the same similar things happen against them by the external forces. So are you not stealing? I mean, just because of the external forces that happen to Tigrayans, they have no way to escape because Ethiopia is pushing them, Eritrea is pushing them, so they have to remain in Tigray to be Tigrayans to be saved from such external forces. So how you are going to claim that such kind of nationalism growing in the people of Tigray was achieved just because that your party is.
But by the way, I strongly disagree with what you said. The Tigray nationalism is following to the genocidal role. This is wrong. This is totally wrong. Because the Tigray nationalism didn't begin 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but it wasn't even 100 years ago, 200 years ago. It was at least 800 years ago, almost a million. You know, the Stephanus and his disciples were being killed. They were being murdered. It's because of the nationalism. It's because of the Tigray nationalism. So how can you say that the Tigray nationalism started following the genocidal war? This is totally wrong. By the way, that should be corrected. The Stephanus and his disciples were being murdered because they were Tagaro. They were being murdered because they were from the nation of Agazian.
They were refusing to accept the government in Central Shua or something. Simply they were.
It's because they are Tagaro. It's because they are from the nation of Agazian.
For example,
it's not only that time. Even after that, in the reign of Menelik II, Tagaro were being murdered.
Murdered for being.
They were being. Yes.
For refusing to accept the central government.
They were being murdered, being slaughtered.
For example,
because they were Tagaro. That's it.
Yeah. For example,
so it's not only that time. Not only that time. Even in the reign of Haile Selassie.
So
the reign of Derg.
Yeah, because they were.
So how can you say that the Tigray nationalism started some 5 or 6 years ago?
For example, the first Wayane.
It's totally wrong by the way. That should be corrected.
The first Wayane was just simply.
If you can say this,
a revolution
for example.
Yeah, a revolution for justice, not for independence, Tigray. There wasn't any history that that define us that we were armed or we conducted armed struggle for independence, but just for justice. And
there were. By the way, you can read history. You can read history. It's the time. For example, females in the reign of Menelik, they were being slaughtered.
In Tigray?
Yeah. Males they were being killed.
So my question is
it's because to destroy the gene of Tagaro. That's because we Tagaro we are the beginners of the civilization.
And you were against the central government for main reasons to have justice and democracy in Ethiopia. Then the central government would take any measures against any people.
It's not the central government. By the way, they came to invade us. That's it. We Tagar and Ethiopians, we are not one and the same. How can you say that?
So are you saying that you have just enough reasons for Tigrayans to be independent?
Perfect.
Okay. If this is the case, let's see the organizational and political clarity of your party. So far, that means it has been a while since established for the last 5 years or more. Then the organizational strengths and weakness of your party would have been more than what is just today. So do you see any politically speaking, that organizational strengths or weakness from the day it started? It was very strong years ago. Now people have the opinion to say that this party is dying.
No, this party is not dying. Rather, it's becoming stronger and stronger. By the way, from the very beginning of its inception, it was strong, middle strong, still strong. It's become stronger and stronger. It is because of the rumors. You know, let me tell you one thing, Zeray. These days, the online media, unlike the traditional media, unlike the print media and the broadcast media, television and radio, the online media has made the life very much easier.
To have access for information.
Yeah, exactly. To have access for everything. It has made the life very much easier. In the contrast, it has made life the worst. You know, everyone in the online media, out of the blue, becomes a journalist. That's the problem. Out of the blue, becomes a journalist. You know, the citizen journalism is being highly practiced, where everyone is a writer, an editor, and a publisher.
Yeah.
You write it, you edit it, and you publish it. So in this time, rumors are being entertained. It's okay. Until you verify, it can be entertained.
Yeah.
But the problem here is, it has still become a rumor, and there are rumors about the Tigray Independence Party. So the Tigray Independence Party is still strong, by the way, still strong. But because of the misuse of the social media, it seems that the Tigray Independence Party is not getting stronger. It seems, but it's totally wrong. Yeah.
I think, let me be very clear to the point that my question goes beyond the rumors that the social media would have it. But if you see your leadership, some of the leadership of the Tigray Independence Party are supporting the alliance with Eritrean regime and TPLF, which we call it Ximdo. And this political stand for the very party, like, I mean, for nationalist party like yours, would be simply suicidal, because the Eritrean regime, you know, that boldly never believe in Tigray independence. And the Eritrean leadership has gone so far to destroy Tigray, not to be independent from day one. It has proven practically that it is against any independence or nationalism in Tigray. Even it goes to stand against the Constitution, Article 39, which allows nationalists to have self-determination up to secession. Therefore, if some of your leadership members are working with TPLF and with the Eritrean region and the Fano, the Amhara elites, which are completely against independence of Tigray, and some of your leadership are against this, do not you see disunity in the very political objective of your party? This is the opinion that keeps everybody saying this party is dying.
My party is not dying, it's rather getting stronger. You know why? By the way, you raised a very good point. there are two legacies against the Aksumite legacy. One is the Shoan legacy, and the other one is the Eritrean legacy, in fact, which is the son of the Italy
The
legacy.
colonized,
Yeah, the colonial legacy.
Yeah.
So, as Tigray Independence Party, we are following the line of the Aksumite legacy, which is against the Shoan legacy and the colonial legacy. So, the Shoan legacy and the colonial legacy are directly the direct enemies of the Aksumite legacy, which as Tigray Independence Party is following. So that's the point. This is a fact. The other point that you raised with regard to the Ximdo or the alliance, after all, did you have Ximdo? That's my question. Did you have alliance?
I see some of your leadership are hard dying, talking, explaining, even making us believe them that the Ximdo is something the best strategic for Tigray independence.
I don't think I don't think there is any part of the leadership who say this because it actually goes against Tigray, the goal of the Tigray Independence Party. So after all, there wasn't any Ximdo, because as to me, Ximdo is people-to-people peace initiative. Was there any initiative like this? Was there? Or is there? I don't think so.
There were.
People to people.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
I was myself part of the committee that even Professor Medhan Tadeso was.
Who delegated you?
Who
delegated you?
The Ethiopian government side with the refugees. If you remember, the Eritrean artists who were refugees in here or from the diaspora.
When?
Before the war.
No, I think the Ximdo you're talking about is maybe that happened some months ago. That's you're talking about.
Yeah, the Ximdo, we simply, you are just saying it about people-to-people relations, but that is not the case. That is TPLF and SS of a region.
So the point I would like to say is that there might be, before the genocidal war, there might be some people-to-people peace initiative seeming, they may seem, but it was not successful because it was a manipulation. It was a manipulation, and this one is the worst. This is also clear manipulation. So after all, there is no Ximdo, because when you say Ximdo, you have to be delegated by the people.
The Ximdo is between the party, TPLF and EPLF.
So that's not Ximdo for me. That's a manipulation. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but some of
as far as it doesn't benefit the people, as far as it doesn't benefit me, as far as it doesn't benefit you, as far as it doesn't benefit everyone, how can we say it's Ximdo? It's not, because Ximdo literally means it's a people-to-people peace initiative, and there was no people-to-people initiative.
Yeah.
So people say there was Ximdo, and now, by the way, it is said even it's a failure. Not only a failure, it ruined. Although it was a manipulation, and that manipulation didn't work.
Yeah, strategically speaking, the main point is
that manipulation didn't work. By the way, I know they were being commanded by someone from Asmara.
Yeah,
that's their commanding.
Do you think that Isaias Afwerki led the Eritrean elites, the leadership in Eritrea? Do you think that it is pro-Tigray independence or against?
Ximdo cannot be pro-Tigray independence? Because it's a manipulation. How can you say? How can you say while the leaders did it to buy time? They did it to buy time for the rain. They did it to buy time for their inhuman relationship. They did it for their hostile activity. So how can you say this is Ximdo? It's totally wrong. But after all, who is to tell me that? Who is to tell me that who is making Ximdo? Because I know everyone. I am from there. I am from Glomkhada. So who is going to tell me that he is going to make Ximdo, while everyone is not aware about that?
And your party is part of that. I'm just saying.
That's totally wrong. It's not. My party is not part of that.
Have you ever discussed this point? Because strategically, speaking strategically,
it's
against, I think, the objective of
you know, the point I said is there might be rumors because everyone is out of the blue is becoming a journalist on social media. So there are rumors. But they are totally wrong.
Dr. Gauravdin Roma and Abel always in every media in defending the Ximdo.
There might be some entertainment of ideas. There might be some entertainment of discussions. But I don't think those comrades are in favor of Ximdo. I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. So there is just minor question that in the intellectual opinions that mostly dominate the international political arena, that being nationalist is inherently undemocratic or undemocratic.
Wrong.
Is there any practical example that disproves this opinion?
Being nationalist is being fair. Being nationalist is being just. Being nationalist is being human.
Sometimes they call it even
being nationalist
fascist.
Is being fair. Nationalism is about the consciousness.
But if
some people may wrongly tell you what nationalism is because they are being afraid of the nationalism. Because they are not. They are against nationalism.
Yeah, but practically, this were claiming political parties, who were claiming they are nationalists and those who have achieved the independence.
Are you talking about fascism? Fascism may be a different term.
No, nationalism by itself is just undemocratic in nature, they say. There is no any party that is...
But the nationalism that I am practicing, the nationalism that my party is practicing is healthy. It's not healthy. I know some governments in different corners of the world, they have taken nationalism as an initiative point. But their target was not nationalism. It was fascism. They were a fascist.
That nationalism?
They were dictatorship. They were totalitarians.
And the European nationalists, American nationalists tend to be against democracy. It's a very democratic principle, because if you are a nationalist, you would be short of this reasonable or rational political community.
That's totally wrong. When you are a nationalist, you will be fair. When you are a nationalist, you're talking about justice.
Okay.
Nationalism is knowing who you are.
That is
nationalism is knowing your background, your culture, your religion, your psychological makeup.
That is identity, I think.
Yeah, that's identity. So
nationalism is mostly political than social.
Loving your identity, struggling for your identity is a blessing.
And
it's a blessing, by the way.
I think if you forget, if you
remember, by the way, true nationalists are blessed. True nationalists are blessed.
Is there any nationalist governments in the world that you know they are democratic? Some examples. Most of the nationalists are just sometimes irrationally feel superior than the others, or they are anti-democratic.
No, don't expect me to give you an example. It's okay, but you know, nationalism is talking about yourself. that you have very good cultures, you love your culture, you love your language, you love your art, you love your people, you love your identity and everything, your psychological makeup and background. So what's wrong with this?
TPLF was calling itself as a democratic nationalist party.
TPLF is a pseudo-nationalist.
But it claims to be democratic.
That's wrong.
There is the word.
It claims to be. Yeah. By the way, what's being spoken and what's being practiced are totally different. Yeah.
You know that the nationalist party.
So TPLF is not a nationalist. It's a pseudo-nationalist. It's a fake nationalist.
So you would be.
The TPLFites are fake, by the way.
So you would be true nationalist. That means.
Perfect.
And any Tigray political elites or any society who would be standing against your party's nationalism, what would be your measure if you became a government? For example, I would prefer to remain in Ethiopia. Would you allow me to live in Tigray as a nationalist? Or I would rather speaking Amharic or English rather than this Tigrigna, then what would be your response as a national party?
In fact, we respect you. We respect you.
One example is that your party didn't respect the opinion of General Kahsay for saying that we Ethiopians, he said, and your party automatically condemned as an enemy.
The way General Zarkan said, the way General Zarkan said, shouldn't be respected.
What was
it
strong?
Should rather be. It should rather be.
I mean, what makes your party right and what makes wrong, General Zarkan's opinion? That was the rational question.
General Zarkan's opinion should not be respected. It's rather should be condemned.
Condemned is undemocratic, I think.
Should be condemned. It's the way he said. General Zarkan, as an individual, or we can say as a figure, he can talk about his personal ideas. But he was representing the people. He can say, as far as I am concerned, he can say like this. He was assuming as if he was representing the people. So that's not respectful. In fact, it's not for me. When General Zarkan say that, it's not a big deal. The other way too, because I know the way General Zarkan was brought up,
and
I know the way General Zarkan was brought up. He was brought up in the school of Wayane, and the school of Wayane is was using and still using the base of communism. And communism is against someone's culture. It's against a people's religion. It's against people's values. It's against people's psychological makeup. So it's okay. You expect such ideas from General Zarkan. So I respect him. I respect as an individual. I respect as a figure. Because he's my fellow, he's Tigray, but the way he said is totally wrong.
Okay, so do you think that there is natural power given for your party to say someone is wrong or someone is right, just regarding their opinions? Because who have given the power to your party to condemn or not condemn someone who explained his or her opinion? That was the question that makes it undemocratic.
But by the way, for example, if you ask me personally, I didn't like it was given as such air coverage. I didn't like, if you personally ask me. But still, the way General Tzarkan said is not respected. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because General Tzarkan is a figure, not only a figure, he's an international figure. He's a political figure and an international figure. So he had to understand the people's heartbeat. That's my question.
The people's heartbeat, he knows very well the Tigrayans.
No, the people, there are frustration. As I told you before, there are frustrations.
But there is no any concrete evaluation or measurement conducted by any institutions. But you as a Tigrayan, me as a Tigrayan, we can
there is a concrete evidence that, for example, you can understand the nationalism peak or the nationalism climax.
That is because of fear of the external forces.
That's totally wrong. It's not because of fear.
So if
it's because of the struggle of the accumulated struggle of many years. It's not fear.
To be independent or to be Ethiopian?
To be independent.
Where was that struggle? I think the TPLF was pro-Ethiopian and the Kadamawian was pro-Ethiopian. And this...
By the way, in every time, there were struggle for nationalism and there were frustrations too. Every time you go. As I told you before, you can refer to what happened to Stephanites, the Stephanus and his disciples.
Yeah, because their philosophy was against the traditional central government of Ethiopia. Naturally,
it's not only against the central government, by the way. It was against cruel activity.
Yeah,
it was rather pro-humanity.
Yeah.
For example, you only pray to God, right? People cannot pray to people. People, you only bow to God.
Yeah.
People don't bow to people. That's their struggle.
Yeah.
A struggle.
So they were against the status quo.
Yeah.
They were right, but they were against the
justice
backward.
or fairness. Justice or fairness by itself is where the Tegarus values are measured.
Yeah.
So they were struggling for that.
For example, do you think that the Tigrinya Stephanus or the disciples of Stephanus would even survive now, holding that view, that modern view, against the TPLF now? They would have been killed in the same way, yeah? Not just because they are Tigrayans, but because the stand they have is against the traditional governments or the anti-democratic regimes, whether they are from Shoa or Tigray, respective, I think. I just understand that way.
I know humanity is beyond Tigraynet, yeah, you know?
Yeah, for example,
humanity is beyond Tigraynet. But as long as you are human, you are true Tigray. That's what the Stephanus or what the Stephanus and his disciples were doing. So this is a very good measure of the humanity in Tigraynet.
So your party believes that by making Tigray independent, that the people of Tigray would be secured politically, in a better position, economically, socially.
Absolutely.
That is the objective.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's come to the election process. I think this election agenda is becoming another bombshell for the Tigrayan elites to be divided. You know that any agenda that comes from outside to Tigray always divide us, make us divided. The Algiers Agreement and this Pretoria Agreement, and this again, this election agenda that comes from the federal government to just Tigrayans are divided whether to try to accept it or not. So your party has made public statements that it stand on the election process, that it accepted it in principle, but rejected it with preconditions that under circumstances the Tigray finds itself, for example, million IDPs are not returning home, more than 70,000 are sheltered in Sudan as a refuge, and the Pretoria Agreement totally is not implemented. Just putting this as a precondition, unless the Pretoria Agreement is not implemented, it is very difficult for the party to conduct that election or to accept it. But in principle, if those conditions are realized, it has no any problem, and it believes strongly that Tigray needs an election and this legitimate government. But my question is that there are legitimate questions. What has got to do this Pretoria case, Pretoria Agreement case, with conducting election? Because legally speaking, you cannot put any preconditionalities to accept or reject any law of the country. And politically, rejecting that elections is simply defying the authority of the government, the federal government, like Tigray did before the war. And you know that we Tigrayans refused the extension of the federal government of the election before the war, and that was an immediate incident for this genocidal war. So Tigray was pro-election before 5 years, and now against the election, we are changing standards that tells that Tigray has no any consistency on the election issue. That means, then let's come back to your party. That have you discussed this matter in detail, intellectually, based on empirical evidences that whether rejecting this election with these preconditions would advantage Tigray or would put Tigray in danger, would not bring any war, because rejecting the federal authority would cause any war. So some people say that in the first place, there is no any conditionality that you put against any law, you accept the law, and there is no any connection between Pretoria and election. So rather, the party, your party, would have accepted to conduct the election and for Tigray to have legitimate government that would have full authority to negotiate.
I think if I got your question, I think what surprises you is we don't have the consistency or thing. The standards of Tagaru,
the inconsistency as a Tigray, not as your party. Even your party has accepted to. It includes your party
that's
too.
it. You know, the situation before the genocidal war and the situation we are having are totally different. They are totally different. By the way, rigidity has no antidote.
Yeah.
When flexibility is necessary, you have to convene it. You have to practice it.
Yeah, but we are not flexibility now.
We're being flexible now. You know, the situation. In fact, election is accepted. I, as a leadership, and my party accepts it because it's a democratic right, yeah? And it's not only Tagaru, but everyone should practice. you should elect and should be elected.
Yeah.
But now, if we take election is important, but there are priorities. There are top priorities, especially the Pretoria Peace Accord should be implemented.
By who?
It's not being implemented yet.
Yeah, but because you don't have a legitimate government that implements, that takes responsibility to implementing the Pretoria Agreement. That is the question that comes from Tigrayan elites.
So we should struggle for that peacefully. But how can you conduct election where there is no territorial integrity? How can you conduct election where the IDPs are not returned home? Rather, they are being the provision of wild animals. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's maddening. So the setting matters, by the setting. Where are you going to conduct this?
that is up to the federal government, I think, where to conduct the election, because the federal government has a full authority. By the way,
we don't have the territorial integrity.
Territorial integrity is a
Where
question.
are we going to conduct this?
It is not up to the parties, this question. It is for the Tigray legitimate government to question and restore the territorial
Zeray, the very term humanity is being ignored. The very term humanity. By the way, if somebody asks us, where is the place the very term humanity is being endangered, no question, people will answer, it's in Tigray.
So what comes if you reject the election process? What comes after? Have you thought about this? Is the dangers that comes after rejecting this kind of?
We have dangers that we have solved now. We have dangers. There is no territorial integrity. IDPs are not returned home. Rather, they are being victims of the wild animals.
Yeah.
Even in the last weeks and months before, they're becoming victims of the wild animals, victims of the hyena.
Yes.
Children.
Yeah. Even just the Pretoria Agreement is not fully implemented. Not
Perfect.
Yeah. We know under such circumstances we are living. But the question is that, the current government, the interim administration is not legitimate. We are under semi-military groups, that administers Tigray. Nobody is responsible for implementing the Pretoria Agreement. That is my question. So to have the election means to have for Tigray to have legitimate government that full-fledged with legal power, political acceptance, with institutional capacity to make negotiation, so that the Pretoria Agreement would be fully realized or implemented. That is the question. You didn't think this way.
Still we have to discuss. Still we have to practice so that the Pretoria Peace Agreement can be practiced. But my question is, I accept. I as a leadership and my party accepts that. But how can you do that? Does it give sense to conduct election while the very term humanity is being endangered? Does it give sense to you?
And does it make sense in the other way that not conducting the election or not accepting the election or rejecting the election save our IDPs or restore our territorial integrities? Does it answer that?
They are not, whether you conduct an election or not, they are not being saved. Rather, you have to debate, you have to discuss to save them.
Debate with who?
Debate with the bodies concerned.
Yeah, so there is no direct responsible body in Tigray to represent Tigray interests, to make sure that
Yeah, that's right, you're right.
So first we should have a legitimate government.
What the TPLF says that election should not be conducted, and what as a party saying the election should not be conducted are totally different. The TPLF is saying for the manipulation. This is clear.
The TPLF is making very selfish or unpopular negotiations that unless the federal government restores my legality, my party legality, I'm not going to conduct election, or I'm not going to allow any party to conduct election in Tigray. Not the Pretoria or the IDP's question, as your party claims so. Now you are joining that camp.
It's not joining that camp, Zeray. It's totally different. TPLF.
Your reasons are different.
TPLF priority. It's clear it's a manipulation, and ours is for humanity. Humanity.
Yeah.
My party stand is humanity should come first. The top priority these days is not election, but the top priority is humanity.
I understand, but I ask you that question, that by rejecting the election, does humanity would be saved, or territorial integrity of Tigray would be realized? Nobody knows. Still, by the way, but that camp.
We're not totally rejecting election, by the way.
You put preconditions.
We support, but
you put preconditions.
We put preconditions. These preconditions should be implemented.
How long it will take us? For example, if
let's discuss. Let's have a dialogue.
Okay, the TPLF has its own reason. It's narrow party interests when it rejects the election.
We have also our reasons.
You have reasons that you put regarding this Pretoria Agreement implementation. Good.
Or you can take first humanity. Humanity should come first.
Whatever the reasons may differ with TPLF, but simply you are in the same camp with your own different reasons rejecting the national election. Yes?
How can you say we are in the same camp? We are not in the same camp. We are not in the same camp. We have our own justifications, and the TPLFite, the hostile TPLFite, has their own reasons.
What makes you?
That's for manipulation. Ours is for humanity.
But still, you are standing against the election. Whatsoever the reasons may differ, I'm just saying.
I am not sure whether the questions, our preconditions will be implemented in the short period of time. Let's assume they are being addressed. Let's assume they are being addressed. Election can be conducted.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether these all preconditions will be implemented in the very given short period of time.
Yeah,
we're supporting that, but we have top priorities.
Who benefits?
The priorities,
my
the
question
top
is that
priorities of humanity.
Your party's stand on the election. Do you think that it benefits TPLF or the Tigray people, or even it invites another war to Tigray by rejecting the election? The consequences of rejecting the election under any pretexts or conditionalities is the fundamental question.
We don't know what the future holds.
Have you?
We don't know what the future holds. You might have other party. We might have our own evaluations, but other party, other Tigray Independence Party, we struggle for our people. We struggle for nationalism. We struggle for humanity. We struggle for the top priorities.
There are no any ways that you can struggle or achieve your nationalism or humanity through? I mean, in a very.
We are declaring these are the best options.
Do you take this election agenda as divisive? I mean, dividing the Tigray national agenda, or bringing us to unified spirit or agenda? Do you see
the point here is, look, Zeray, the point here is, let's think about humanity. Let's do our best Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a discussion. I know you're saying the dialogues, discussions are closed, but let's try. Let's try our best. For example, parties have already started discussion, right? A dialogue. But the hindering party, the hostile TPLF, is not happy with such discussion, with such dialogues.
But now it is happy to discuss with you because you have the same stance on the election. I'm saying that your party quickly makes that statement, yeah? Very quickly. And the Salsawiyani party again released the same similar stand. But my concern is that Tigray, the whole Tigray, whether you are in the opposition camp, whether you are in Ximdo camp, whether you are in the Ethiopianist camp, as Eritrean parties, elites, intellectuals, would have come together and discuss it on the issue of rejecting or accepting this election with any conditionalities. Does it benefit Tigray or not? Now Tigray would have come with similar...
It should have been that way.
Yeah.
It should have been that way. It's not being practiced. But other party, we are still calling for dialogues and discussions.
Yeah.
Someone who thinks he cares for humanity, he cares for Tigrigna, he cares for Tagaro mothers. He thinks about Tagaro fathers. Everyone.
Yeah, you know that my concern is that as a party, my decision and your party's decision is not the same thing to matters, to issues that matters Tigray.
May not be the same.
Yeah, weighty.
People might have their own views.
As a party, should be very responsible, and sometimes
we're responsible for that. We're responsible for the statement.
But
it's responsible.
If your statement brings another war from the federal government, what would be your response then? You know that I'm just giving you the example that because
how can thinking about humanity brings war?
So you reject the election, yeah?
We're not rejecting it. We support it. We back the.
If those conditions are not fulfilled, we don't accept that election. That means clearly your party statement. We did this statement before the war. That
the conditions before the war and now are totally different, Zeray.
Okay, so
yeah.
As a politician,
should we? As I told you before, we shouldn't be rigid. Rigidity has no.
This is rigidity. I'm saying, because if you put conditionalities in the legal grounds, now the federal government would think that its authority is defied by the parties or elites or Tigray, then it would come to use force, and that takes us to another war. Do not you think?
We're telling our statement to everyone, including the federal government, if they care about humanity. If somebody is caring about humanity, our statement is true and the right one.
Yeah, the last
for everyone.
But I think my points have something to be considered. I think whether Tigray should reject it or not, still as a Tigrayan, we have to rethink about that. And you know that the Ethiopian context, the political context, currently Ethiopia is at fire. Elsewhere in the regions, there is no any secured places everywhere except Addis Ababa. The capital city is secure because there is this.
Are you sure the capital city is secured?
How
can you say that?
Relatively to Tigray, to Amhara, to Gambela, to Somalia, relatively Addis Ababa is secure politically. Relatively, I don't mean that it is secured most. But do you think that Addis Ababa is far better than Gambela, Benshangul, Amhara, Tigray? Yes, we agree on this.
It may seem secure because guards are in the surrounding area, but I don't think it's such.
But
secure.
Still better than Tigray or Amhara. Yeah? What is my point is that Ethiopia is in fire. elsewhere.
Yeah,
Not only in Tigray, but in Amhara, in Gambela, Benshangul, Somalia, everywhere.
Yeah.
So the whole country would conduct election. That would be the responsibility of the federal government. Whether there is possibilities to conduct the election peacefully or not, it's up to them. Yeah, but under Ethiopian context, Tigray is not different from that insecurity. So we should see it from that.
The inhumanity is by far the worst in Tigray, I think. The inhumanity.
Yeah, but are we sure that just because
the cruelty, where the humanity is being endangered is by far the worst in Tigray.
So your party strongly believes that this kind of humanity, just happening in Tigray, would be would be positively responded by the federal government just because you reject the election with these conditionalities. Do you think that the federal government would have humanity? They reject the election, so I have to address their questions.
Look, Zeray, when we give a statement, it's not based on what could the federal government responsibly. It's not on that. Our statement is based on the party
principles.
Yeah. So
good.
The federal government might have different responses.
Yeah.
But what matters is what we are talking about is our statement. What is our statement about? What could the party's statement should be? That's our focus. Not what could the federal government response be.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, logically.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think we have raised very key issues that everyone, every party, every Tigrayan would consider when they think about the problems in Tigray, how to achieve our goals or collective objectives. And your party, as a nationalist party, would be expected to be more responsible than any. That's why I asked that question, and you have responded to them politically and from the standing point of your party's view. I think we have raised some cautions regarding the party, Tigray election. Everything would be enough for today, and I'm very grateful for having you here and be able to address opinions, questions, and you make, I think, clarity on your party stand on many issues. Now I will give you 1 minute to convey your message to the people of Tigray or regarding your party. That would be the end of our program for today. If you have anything that you want to convey.
All right. Thank you very much, Zeray. By the way, I appreciate our struggle on nationalism, the Tigray nationalism, as Tigray Independence Party, and others who are struggling for an independent Tigray. But still, as Tagaru, we have some problems. We have the ego. So we're expected to have a genuine dialogue, a genuine discussion. The dialogues and discussions are the antidote for Tigray, the antidote for the problems being happened. There is a fire here in Tigray, a fire. When you use the fire wisely, what's happening, maybe it may give you an illumination. It can give you a light, maybe for good. But in contrast, the fire is highly destructive. The solution for this is a dialogue. It is a discussion. Everyone in Tigray might have different views.
Sure.
But we shouldn't expect everyone should have the same view.
Sure.
Slassie, Zeray, General Sarkan, or anyone else cannot have the same views.
Yeah.
But they are Tagaro. They are Tagaro. So every Tigray is equal before God, before the law, and under the sun.
Sure.
We have to believe this. Whatever the views are, we should respect
each other.
Yeah. Condemning one another, in fact, it's not good. If somebody is struggling for a nation, whatever the views are, they're blessings. We have to use them for our advantage. And, you know, there might be different reasons. There might be some reasons that may lag behind. But we have to forgive, I think. We may not forgive them, we have to forgive. Forgiveness is very good.
Thank you.
It's because we're not forgiving what is happening. It's because I am pointing my finger to Zeray.
Yeah.
And the same thing, Zeray may point his finger.
And that takes us nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, takes us nowhere.
So I think...
So the point here is, let's have a dialogue. Let's have a discussion. Flexibility is very good. While strategic goals are being considered. Let's have flexibility. Because rigidity has no antidote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Dear Zeray press viewers, as I have explained at the beginning of our agenda, we had a wonderful program or conversations with Mr. Kahsay from Tigray Independence Party leadership member. His views on election, his views on Ximdo, his views on Tigray nationalism, and what has to be done or not to make the party more strong. We all want to see this party more stronger than now. That's why we question main questions, and he has addressed it. And thank you very much for having me today. Our program for is concluded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zeray.